into it today. We're not playing today. They think we stupid. They think we dumb. They think we're ignorant. But I understand, this war on propaganda and how it actually works. Okay. And we're going to be talking about this Trump news today. Real quick. I got to go live because a lot of the times when I upload videos, the algorithm is set to the point where, they want to block it. And I put some videos out, but that's neither here nor there. But Trump news. Okay, we got the Epstein Files, and then I'm gonna discuss and talk about the Trump's victory when it comes to the Supreme Court siding with the president when it comes to the ICE raids. All right, and so basically we have the Epstein Files, and apparently the birthday book was released, but if you did not know, over the weekend, they basically had a conversation or a press conference at the White House demanding that the Congress, litigate and the Congress pass a bill and Trump assist them in basically passing a bill to to open the files of the Epstein files completely. Because what they've released court documents, and I sat there like a bonehead and read multiple pages of it, but it's basically just the court filings. There was nothing, nothing to breaking news or something that we did not know. And now they're putting out the birthday book. And I went through all the news cycles this morning, and it's trending, it's viral, and they're talking about the birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein and supposedly Donald Trump back in 2002 or 2003. I could be corrected. Basically, signed his signature on some type of print. Okay, it wasn't anything that he wrote, but it was a female's body, and we're going to go ahead and just look at it real quick. It was a female's body, and supposedly this is Donald Trump's signature. Okay, and when you look at it, let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and agree. So basically, let me see here. So right behind me is supposedly some letter that Donald Trump signed. Okay, it's the body of a female, and it has his signature. And I'm not a signature specialist, but I was able to actually go on and see the president's signature versus this particular signature, and there may be a lawsuit. But just listen and pay attention to how we have the mainstream media, how they want us to, they want to control the narrative. But the greatest phenomenon is what we're viewing right now is social media, it's the internet, when you have individuals who can actually crack the code, or individuals who can actually basically just tell the truth. Now, some of us, we have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us God, no matter what, because we don't have skin in the game. Like, I could care less either way. I want to see the entire Epstein files. I want to see the entire list. Who's ever on it, deal with it. Okay. But I've been paying attention, and I'm using my common sense, and I'm saying, wow, if the president had anything to do with any of these things, I'm sure it would have came out by now, released by the Biden administration, because they're, looking to do anything against him. And then when they sit back and say, asking questions, the president says it's a hoax. And when he says it's a hoax, I can totally understand that it's being used as a hoax to basically try to demonize or to implement Trump into the lifestyle of Jeffrey Epstein. But what I'm going to do for you today, and it's special, I'm going to go ahead and play a part of the presser that was over the weekend. Okay. And these females are the survivors, and they're asking and wanting Congress to pass a particular bill, and they wanted the president to basically sign off on it to release the files. And I'm sitting back, if the president had anything to do with it, why would these women, want to work with the president? And then when it comes to name droppings, okay, because they basically saying there's no list, but there is a flight log. We know that, there's individuals that can actually testify, because the women during the press conference, the women basically said that, they have their own list. And I'm going to let you go ahead and hear that. So basically, right now it's trending. They're trying to get us and to go through some rabbit hole because Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2003, 2002, and he basically gave they opened up his birthday book and Trump's name's on some type of printed out figure, and you can see it behind me. And let's go ahead and get into it. Let's just keep it 100. So listen, this was a press conference over the weekend, and these females are victims. And it's basically the title of it was the Epstein Files, and the victims held a press conference. The victims, okay, you see them behind me. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this particular individual because she basically said that they can work together. They know the people, they know who trafficked them, and they can actually compile their own list. But why are we not talking about this? Why are we talking about oh, he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He was friends with Donald Trump. I mean, just because you're friends with somebody don't mean you have anything to do with it. But good morning to you guys. Hi. So basically, I got to do this because we're not going to be stuck on stupid. We're not going to allow them to control the narrative because we all want to know the truth. And one thing when when you're dealing with the truth, the whole truth, that means you basically is a mediator, and you really have nothing to do with either side. So we're going to basically just play it. Whatever happens, happens. Whoever has to deal with it, deal with it. This is what the people want, but we're not going to sit back and allow them to sit back and point us in the wrong direction and have us going through some rabbit hole. We all know that that particular birthday book was released. They basically lied to us and said that they're going to release some documents, same documents, but we have the survivors. What are the survivors saying? We need the survivors to speak. And I'm going to let you hear right now what the survivors had to say when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein files, because they had a press conference. Let's check it out. Let's hear what she got to say.
My name is Lisa Phillips.
Lisa Phillips.
I'm the host of a award-nominated podcast called From Now On, a platform supporting survivors. I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was
She said who she saw. Think about it. Who she saw. And believe me, I have to stop this so I don't get flagged. So she basically said who she saw. So she's a living witness to what's going on, not some propaganda that the press is and the mainstream media is trying to put out, or the left media is trying to put out.
Into a very dark and disturbing world.
What she saw.
For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey. But he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford Modeling Agency.
Ooh, Ford.
Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him.
Wow.
Epstein was not just a serial predator. He was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. You hearing it from the horse's mouth. So, like I said, I have to pause it, because of the copyright infringement and things like that. But she basically says she saw some things and she's here for justice. So this is what the focus needs to be on, not some letter or something supposedly with a signature of the president's on since 2002 or 2003. These are the victims. These are the survivors. And these are the individuals that we need to be focused on, other than that fake propaganda and the hoax that they continue to put out. Congress must choose.
Congress must choose.
Will you continue to protect predators? Or will you finally protect survivors? So
she basically saying that Congress is protecting predators and they want the survivors to be protected. Congress is protecting predators. I'm going to say it again. Congress, according to her, Congress is protecting predators and they need to protect the survivors. This is what she's saying.
And also, I would like to announce here today
Us Epstein survivors
Uh-huh.
have been discussing creating our own list.
Wait a minute. I'm going to play that again. She said that they are discussing creating their own list. I'm going to play and put it back. Let's go. Hear what she says.
And yet he was protected.
Oh, man.
So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed.
Here we go.
We are not asking for pity.
Okay.
We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice.
She demanded justice. Watch this.
Congress must choose.
Congress must
Will you
choose.
continue to protect predators?
Whoa.
Or will you finally protect survivors?
Congress, will you finally protect the survivors? And somebody put in the chat, no one cares, and you might be right.
And also, I would like to announce here.
Okay, here's the announcement. Check this out. Listen to what she says. Here's the announcement. Instead of that, because they know about that rabbit hole, they know about the bait and switch, they know about the propaganda. This is what they're considering, and it's coming out of one of the victims' mouths, and she's on the stage with survivors.
Today,
Check it out.
us Epstein survivors
Uh-oh.
have been discussing creating our own list.
Whoa.
We know the names.
Did y'all hear that? I'm going to play it one more time. She said they're discussing creating their own list because they know the names. Okay, this is the direction we need to be on right here. Here we go. Let's go.
He was an international human trafficker.
International human trafficker.
And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited.
Okay,
And yet he was protected.
he was protected.
So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced,
Check this out.
exploited, and dismissed.
Check this out.
We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice.
And she's demanding justice, and look right at the camera. But here's the jaw dropper right here. This is what we need to be focused on, and this is where our energy needs to be instead of sitting back, all the news outlets talking about a signature of the president's back in 2002. This right now. Watch this.
Congress must choose.
Come
Will
on,
you
Congress.
continue to protect predators? Or will you finally protect survivors?
Come on, Congress. Choose. Stop protecting the predators and protect the survivors. And this is what she's saying to the House of Congress. That includes the House and the Senate.
And also,
Watch this.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors
Uh-oh.
have been discussing creating our own list.
Her own list.
We know the names.
She know the name.
Many of us were abused by them.
Wow.
Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know.
Whoa. Boom. There it is. They said in private, in closed door. Let me let her say it. Let me let her say it. Because the media got us, on some okie doke.
Exploited and dismissed. We are not asking for pity.
Watch this.
We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice.
She demanded justice.
Congress must choose.
Congress must choose.
Will you continue to protect predators?
Come on.
Or will you finally protect survivors?
Come on, Congress.
And also,
Also,
I would like to announce here today,
here's the announcement.
us Epstein survivors
Come on.
have been discussing creating our own list.
Ooh.
We know the names.
They know the names.
Many of us were abused by them.
They were abused by them.
Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know
Wow.
who were regularly in the
Man, you see the faces on the women behind them. They like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. Let's do it.
asking for pity.
Watch their faces.
We are here demanding accountability,
Watch their faces.
and I'm demanding justice.
Watch their faces.
Congress must choose.
Watch their
Will you
faces.
continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors?
Uh-huh.
And also,
Watch this.
I would like to announce here today,
Watch their faces.
us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list.
Look at them faces.
We know the names.
Yeah.
Many of us were abused by them.
Yeah, look at the faces.
Now together as survivors, we will confidentially
Wow.
compile the names we all know.
Wow. Look at them faces.
Who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
Mm-hmm.
No one else is involved.
Let's run it.
Stay tuned for more details.
Stay tuned for more details. Wow. Okay. All right. And see this, okay. Now this next female, she mentioned the only name on the list
because she was a witness. The female that just spoke before this particular person is about to speak basically said that they know they know the perpetrators. They were there. They was abused by them. They know the names, and they will be compiling their own list. And now this individual is speaking next, and she's the only one that actually mentioned a name of a very powerful person and implemented that name. And she's going to say it right here. And after she mentioned that name, that's where I'm going to pick up at. But I'm going to let her speak and say what she has to say because she needs to be heard. She's a victim. And she basically said the names. And I'm astonished to the fact that, we're looking at some document signed by the president, back in 2002. When these individuals, these survivors are calling out names and they're demanding justice and they're demanding for Congress to act. Check this out. And she's nervous because she got to call out a name.
Hello,
I saw it
my name
already.
is Shantae Davies.
Shantae
and I'm
Davies.
here before you today as a survivor of decades of pain, trauma, and betrayal at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and the people who enabled them, and a government that for far too long refused to help.
Wow.
In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures.
Bam, there it is. Okay. Did y'all catch that? Because we're talking about, a list that doesn't exist. We're talking about paperwork, and he was friends and associated with Jeffrey Epstein. But this particular female, she just implemented probably one of the most powerful and influential individuals in American history. I think y'all missed it, so let's listen to it. Let's go.
That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell.
Watch this.
I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world.
Y'all gotta
Epstein
listen.
flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton. Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world.
Watch this.
Epstein flew me to his private island.
We're gonna play that again.
He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch.
Watch this.
The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful.
Watch this.
I was just one of the many young women trapped in
Watch
his
this.
orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Did y'all hear what she just said? Did y'all hear what she just said? Whether she's lying or not, okay. She basically put Bill Clinton on a plane with her and Jeffrey Epstein to Africa as an underage child. And the media got us in some rabbit hole, that's seeing if that's Trump's signature or not. Okay. Now, the truth is the truth. And this is what we're dealing with here. We're going to deal with the truth, okay? Because these survivors, these children, these adolescents were victims. And she basically spoke on a name and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. But we're going to talk about
Young
it.
woman on top of the world.
We're going to talk about
Epstein
it.
flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help,
He flew me to his private island,
but his promises came with a catch.
came with a catch.
The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip.
He's all right. Here's the name. Get ready. Okay, because I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like, hit that notification, hit that subscription, because we gonna go down the right road, not the wrong road, because she's about to mention a name, and this is the only name implemented. Now, Trump's name's mentioned, but this is a implement. She implemented the former president. Listen to this. This is what this woman said in a press conference. But for some reason, somehow we don't know nothing about that. We're stuck looking at some birthday book and some litigation or paperwork that was declassified that had nothing in it. Listen to this name. Just listen.
To Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Wow. She went to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt
Let's
I
listen
had
to
no
it
one
again.
to turn to. He was too powerful.
Let's listen to it one more time.
I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I
Yeah.
was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures.
Okay. With former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. And the female that spoke before her said that they're going to compile their own list. So, number one, Bill Clinton. And we're going to go by who's next. Okay. Because the only name that's implemented in the Epstein Files to date is Bill Clinton. You have a survivor here at a press conference and stated out of her mouth that she went to Africa on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton. And if you didn't hear it, here she is saying it again.
Private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help.
Say it again.
But his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to.
Watch this.
He was too powerful.
Check this out.
I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Wow.
And other notable figures.
Former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. Let's keep it a buck. She just said she even went on a trip to Africa on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures that she know who they are. So when you talk about let's keep it a buck, let's keep it 100. Let's stay where we need to stay. Let's focus, because the media has ways to spin things, and they say it's a war on propaganda, but this is coming out of the female's mouth, and she's a victim. And all you ladies out there, you're supposed to believe them. Okay, remember the Me Too and Time's Up. This is Me Too Time's Up times 1,000, because she just basically mentioned the president.
Someone who could change the course
the
of my
first
life,
name on the list is Bill Clinton.
At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the
That's
world.
the list.
Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful.
Watch this.
I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Did y'all hear what she just said? I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton. And she said she was like 15 years old. So why are we allowing the media to even think or believe that they got the power? Why are we even making them think that we believe what they say? Because you are witnessing the phenomenon. And I'm looking at the comments, and individuals got issue. Like I said, I'm a nonpartisan independent. I could care less either way. If Trump's on the list, say it. You got women right here who basically witnessed these things and been violated. They know the truth. So bring them into the House of Congress, have a congressional meeting in private doors, implement the people and believe what they say. But for whatever reason, they are pushing a narrative and an agenda, behind the scenes, got people, believing anything. Oh, he was friends with Trump. Oh, Trump was his friend. Trump gave him a birthday present. Okay, but where are the individuals implementing President Trump doing something or violating these young females? This female just said that she went on a private trip with Bill Clinton, with Jeffrey Epstein, with Bill Clinton. Here it is.
Woman on top of the world.
I'm gonna play it
He flew
again.
me to his private island. He listened to my dreams,
Uh-huh.
promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton.
Wow, man, that just, all I'm saying is, and the reason why I'm backing it up, the reason why I'm replaying it is because I want us to understand that the mainstream media is a joke. You know, they're biased, you know, they have their own agenda, you know, and we're truth bearers. Just tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And because whatever you do behind closed doors, you know, will basically come into the open, just like you or me. You know, whatever we did in our lives, you know, we had to deal with it. So it's time to pay the piper because the chickens are home and they're roosting.
Young woman on top of the world.
Young woman on top of the world.
He flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help.
Here we go.
But his promises came with a catch.
Let's go.
The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton. If I spoke out, who would believe me? In those moments, I realized how quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. Quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton, 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 Bill Clinton.
What are we talking about?
Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton, and other notable figures.
There it is.
In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that right there. We already, like, the climax is there. So if you need to log off, go get to work. You heard the gist of the conversation. But she implemented Bill Clinton. But right now she's going to mention Donald Trump. She's going to mention Donald Trump. And I'm going to give some commentary on that because she's about to say his name. But she didn't implement him on the plane or on the island. And not one of these women admitted, because they had a press conference indoors and they asked the women, did Donald Trump, or did you see Donald Trump? And they was like, no. But the media just put that under the rug. But right now, she implemented Bill Clinton, but she's going to mention Trump. But look how the media is going to, portray what her comment about the president.
Including our current president, Donald Trump. Yeah. It was his biggest brag, actually.
So we got to make sure we got to make sure we get it, because I want you to understand. She mentioned him because she said that Donald Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's biggest brag, meaning that she knew Donald Trump, that he knew Donald Trump. And this is back in 2002, 2003. So basically, Epstein bragged that he was friends with Donald Trump. OK, he was on Trump's nutsack. He loved Trump. Trump was one of the most powerful individuals on the planet, and didn't know that he was going to become president. But in the private sector, Trump was beloved. Young Jock, the young Donald Trump. Nelly said, "Let me in now." Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. Everybody was going running to the Trump Taj Mahal, watching the Mike Tyson fights and all of that. So somehow it changed when he became a political figure, because he knows all their deep, dark secrets, and he doesn't have the dark money or the evildoers in high places, the financiers that basically finance his campaign. So he don't have to speak for them. He speak for himself. He speak off the cuff, and sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth. I understand that, but he's free and he's an independent and he's the president of the United States. So she mentioned the president. Okay.
She didn't implement the president. She implemented Bill Clinton. I even rode on a private jet to Africa with Jeffrey and Bill Clinton. And now she's going to mention Trump. Okay. Meaning that Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's biggest brag, meaning Epstein used to tell these females, I know him. I know her. Yeah. Me and Donald Trump's are besties. That's my friend. That's my partner. And she basically is saying that Trump was the guy. Okay. But she did not implement Trump. She implemented Bill Clinton. So we are compiling the list. They're going to create their own list based on the presser that they just did over the weekend. And the only name that they mentioned that's implemented is Bill Clinton. That's number one. So we're going to be on the lookout for number two. So let me go ahead and just finish it out.
Us. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump.
He bragged about his friends, including his powerful friends, including our president, Donald Trump. Mentioned, not implemented.
It was his biggest brag, actually.
It was his biggest brag, actually, meaning Donald Trump. I know Donald Trump. And look, now she's confused because in her mind, he didn't, he's not guilty of anything in her head, but she's forced to read this because, the media has a way to play both sides. Because I know somebody that's not smart is going to take that and basically say, oh, he implemented Trump. Oh, no. They implemented Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. Implicated. Okay, thank you. That's that HBCU education.
And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while
So she's mentioned Trump. Let's go ahead and play that back. Actually, let's go back a little further and just go ahead and just hear the whole thing without me interrupting.
He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures.
Wow.
In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders.
Now she's about to mention President Trump.
Of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
His biggest brag was Donald Trump. So Trump was the most powerful, influential individual in the United States, and Jeffrey Epstein bragged to her about him being his friend or an associate.
And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence.
And that's probably why they will not release the files, because whether you directly or indirectly are in the files, then, you're going to be discovered.
Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role? Why does the government hide this information from the public? This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters. Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability, transparency, and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the futures stolen. So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth.
Let us know the truth.
We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront the past. Thank you.
Wow. that was very powerful. And she's asking the president to release the files, or they're trying to pass a bill. I got to do some more research to know what the bill is, but they want to pass a bill where they actually release everything. And she's asking the president. Okay. She mentioned the president being Jeffrey Epstein's, best or the most powerful, influential person that he knew at the time. But she implicated Bill Clinton by basically saying that she rode on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane and went to Africa with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. So they mentioned in the presser that one of the females says that they have the names and they're going to compile their own list in private. But basically the first name that's been implicated in the Epstein files or have been, in the midst of is Bill Clinton. So we'll be waiting on number 2. Hopefully they release the files. But like she said, it's very too many names is on there. Whether you allowed it to happen or you was a part of it, you're guilty on either side. So this is why, I don't think it's going to come out, but we're going to see. Maybe they get paid off. We don't know. But she implicated Bill Clinton in the Epstein files, and she didn't mention. She mentioned Trump, but she didn't implicate anybody else. And then the press conference, I watched it, is actually over an hour and 28 minutes long. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. But who else is on the list? They said they're going to sit behind closed doors and create their own list, but there's going to be some type of buyout or some type of class action. We don't know what's going on, but they're going to get broke off because, like she said, there's too many powerful, influential individuals that's actually has something to do with it. Meaning, if you allowed it to happen, then there's some guilt to some magnitude. So if you knew about it, if you are hiding, if you are covering up the situation, then there's some issues going on. So we're going to see what it is. So don't fall for the okie doke. The news, mainstream media is talking about, a picture and the birthday book and all that. That's just a bunch of hogwash because the victims are there. They said that they know the names, they know the people, the perpetrators, and Bill Clinton is the only one implicated into the Epstein files because this particular victim called out his name. And with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day. Hit that like, hit that notification, and keep tapping in because we got one name on the list, and that's Bill Clinton. Okay. Trump right now, he's in the clear, number one, because he's the president. And number 2, at the end of this press conference, they basically, one of the females said that, I'm a Republican, call me into the White House. Let's have a conversation. I'll tell you everything that you need to know. And she was trying to meet with the president. So if he was a perpetrator and they are the victims, then why would the victims want to sit with their perpetrator? Okay. So, it is what it is. So we got to use our common sense. And like I said, the mainstream media, I don't know what the jig is, but, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to keep on pushing forward because, like I said, the only name implicated in the Epstein files up to this point is Bill Clinton. And they're asking Donald Trump to help them. So if they're asking Donald Trump to help them, and they went on record and they were asked in another press conference or a town hall type meeting, did anybody in the room see or have any issues with President Trump? And they all were like, no, and then that boom. So the media then went and found some signature of Donald Trump on that little whatever they showing on the news today with his birthday book, trying to implicate Donald Trump into the situation, but Bill Clinton has been implicated, and he's number one. He's number 1 on the list of the Epstein files. So with that being said, you have an amazing day. This is your man, Bouchon Glover, signing out of Better Black America TV on YouTube. Peace out.